What were some times when you died inside? In the 7th grade, I got my back-to-school clothes. For some reason, I thought yellow pants and a yellow Hawaiian shirt looked awesome. I was excited to wear this new outfit. We were not wealthy, so having new clothes like this was a big deal for me. Sitting in my English class, one received a note. It said, "Are you the mustard man?" and was signed by every person. The fucking class, and as I read it, they all burst out in laughter. All of them. It's a moment in life where you have to laugh or cry, and either way you die inside. I chose to laugh. Kids are cruel. I had something similar as a kid. Had a light blue tracksuit that I loved in the 3rd grade. Early 2000s. Don't judge my fashion choices. And a girl told me that I looked like an Oompa Loompa. Never wore it to school again. Also, Oompa Loompas look nothing like that. Brianna. I received a set of boxes in the mail with no return address on a Monday morning. When I opened the boxes, I started noticing stuff that is my mom's. Her handwriting on notes. This seems to be some sort of care package from my mom. Was in college at the time. As I opened more, there were all these documents. I was confused. Then I found the note. My mom committed suicide but planned it all out. She sent me a list of things to take care of now that she's gone. Now I hate getting packages. Sorry for your loss. I can't imagine how devastating that must have been. I'm so sorry, mate. I hope things turn around and get better. Tie for the kind words. Time has helped heal the pain a bit and things are going well now. I had a customer who was holding and examining an awkward, fragile, inexpensive item with one hand. I asked her to please hold it with two. She turned to look at me. She only had one arm. You know, out of all the great answers in this thread, this is the one that actually made me laugh out loud. I can almost picture your face as she turns around. Turn beet red, mumble out an apology, go take a bathroom break till she leaves. I help coordinate Medicaid transportation to appointments. Had a really rude client on the phone yelling that his ride wasn't there. I put him on hold. Call the driver. He is sitting out front. I switch back over. The client is still yelling. I said, "Sir, just look outside. He's right there." It had been a bad day, and I learned my lesson from this. Please keep that in mind. He says, "I can't. I'm blind." Sure as shit. His file says blind. Now I don't lose my temper on the phone. I found a resident at my work. CNA. Crying, and when asked what was wrong he responded, "I have baby brains." For some context, I work at a traumatic brain injury center. For these types of people, this is their permanent home. And coming from someone who is usually caught in a three-sentence loop, the self-realization was something I didn't think he was capable of. Feels bad, man. JPEG. Jesh, I can't even imagine. How did you respond? I initially thought, no, but replied with something like, "Hey, that's not the case. You're a full-grown man," and proceeded to breathe with him to calm him down. It ended with us laughing and him calling me a pretty cool dude. Dude. That is so horribly sad and yet wholesome at the same time. At a company event, as we left, my colleagues were nowhere to be found as I walked outside. So I waited there. Turns out they were taking a group photo without me. My friends did this at prom. I am constantly forgotten about at work, social gatherings, and among my friends group. Once my coworkers invited me to lunch with them. I said, "Great, let me know when you're leaving." 2 p.m. rolls around and I'm hungry, so I ask when we're going to lunch. "Oh, we already ate." I've had a friend ask me why I wasn't at a party before, only to find out that no one remembered to tell me about it, or notice or text me during it. It sucks. I have friends, but I feel very alone most of the time. It sucks when you're everybody's 5th or 6th closest friend. They notice when you're not around but don't feel it's their place to invite you. You end up being asked to be an usher but never a groomsman. When my dad told me he was obligated to love me, but he didn't have to like me, I was 10, and I was absolutely crushed. Once bought a bottle of Pepsi in a meal deal but didn't have space to put it in my bag. In my infinite wisdom, I decided to pour the contents into my reusable water bottle so I wouldn't have to carry both bottles. It was one of them bottles that has the straw in it and you flip the top up when you want a drink. Opened it in a little hardware store later in the day and the gas had built up in the bottle and it spurted out like a water gun all over the wall and ceiling. I was so embarrassed and tried my best to clean it up for them, but all the staff could do was laugh. One of them told me I was stood in the perfect spot for the CCTV to pick it up and he would be watching it back later. Edit. I'm so glad that it turns out I'm not the only idiot who has done something like this. I did this with Sprite in my 9th grade algebra class. The room went dead silent and I just went outside to dump the rest out while my classmates wiped off the desks for me. My teacher didn't even say anything. 5th grade spelling bee. I made it to the school-wide level, which was the 3rd round in. First I had to beat my own class, then beat the other 5th grade classes, and next was the whole school. My first word was biscuit. Easy. My second word was soccer. Also easy, except for the fact that I was a bit nervous being up on stage with the whole school in attendance, including my mom who was there for support. It got in my head a little bit. I heard soccer and thought, okay, this is easy. Remember, there are 2 C's in soccer. 2 C's. 2 C's. Step up to the microphone. C-O. Instantly knew what I did. Face-bombed myself in front of everyone. Dead inside. Despite this realization, and the fact I had already lost, my brain kept the letters mixed up and I spelled the rest of the word. S-S-E-R. Koser. Any Koser fans here? Or, as you may call it in your country, B-U-T-F-O-L. Interviewing a potential student who is interested in my school. He has a huge green circle around his eye. Well, quite a black eye. What did you do? Quote, I was born like this. Oh wow, I did this once at my job when I was in high school. I worked with this guy for 3 years, and one day he had this huge cut all the way up his arm. I asked him what happened and he looked down and awkwardly told me he had psoriasis and was having a flare-up. All I could say was, no way, so does Kim Kardashian. You could be famous. Made almost 0 sense and I felt so bad. He was cool about it though. I'm sure that kid wasn't too upset. He knows what's up. As someone who has psoriasis and flares, concern and kindness are always appreciated over "ew, gross" or "is it contagious?" while backing away. In 4th grade, my school had a fundraiser around Valentine's Day where you could buy a carnation for $1 or a rose for $2. It would then be delivered with a message to the person of your choosing. I liked a boy in my class, so I decided to buy him a rose and write a note from his secret admirer. Well, I couldn't wait for the rose to be delivered, so I wrote a note and slid it under his book when he got up to go to the bathroom. His friends saw because I'm about as stealthy as an elephant on roller skates. Friend took the note, read it out loud when the boy got back. The rose came not long after. The boy took it, looked at me, snapped the rose in half, and threw it in the trash. Also, there was the recurring instance of being the target of "my friend likes you." Ew, no I don't. Does wonders for a girl's self-esteem. Especially since my mom continued the insults at home, lol. When I was about 9 I was in a school assembly. All 400 students and all teachers. At our school assemblies the students sat cross-legged on wooden floor in the sports hall. Well, I had to fart, and I assumed it would be quiet. It was not. It ended up being extremely loud and was amplified by the wooden floor. In my school you would have been a king. In 3rd grade, we had to line up and be escorted to the cafeteria for lunch. I was at the front of the line and had to fart. So I tried to let it out quietly as I walked. Turns out you don't have much control down there at that age. Ripped a loud, wet fart right at the doorway and all my classmates had to walk through the radiation zone.
Subscribe for more hot Reddit takes in your inbox, guaranteed.